Well, friends, let me say welcome. It is great that you could join me today in one of our webinars, particularly to close out the end of the year. If I haven't met you before, my name is James. I work at Raisley as our lead educator and also look after the team for Built by Raisley. And today we're going to have a bit of a fun one where I kind of get to summarize my year in a nutshell by taking you through some really cool campaigns that we've been able to build and develop over this year at Raisley. We've looked after over 40 different organizations with campaigns in 1 year, which is just insane, and has been an absolute blast to do. It has been such a incredible education moment for us, and I'm really looking forward to presenting to you today some of the things that are going on. Now, if for any reason you cannot hear me, please do let me know in the chat. So please open up the chat function. You can put in there. I always love it in the chat function. If you can let me know that you're online, make sure you say hello. It is good to know that there's real people on the other side of these webinars. So if you are with us, open up the chat function, let me know you're here and say g'day. Also, we do want to encourage Q&A time today too. So if questions that you have as we go through this little session today around anything in regards to Built by Raisley or building your next campaign or any sort of questions that you may have, open up the Q&A feature. I would love to answer some of your questions today as we go through some different things. So please utilize the Q&A feature. Now, with all of our webinars and our times that we catch up, we do want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and I meet on the land of the Awabakal people. And just want to pay our respects and my respects to those elders who are past, present, and future. We love at Raisley that we do get to honour the First Nations in Australia and also the Indigenous around our world as well. So, again, let me say thank you for joining. Now, there's one major thing I need you to do in this webinar today, and that is to open up the chat function, and in there you're going to find a link. That link is to raisley.com/showcase2024. The chat is disabled. Oh, the chat's disabled. Let me have a quick little squeeze at some of our settings so we can see if we can get those settings sorted out. That's all right, Kendall. Thank you so much for letting me know on that. Sometimes I don't set the webinars up. And so what I can do instead is I'm just going to tell you what the link is I need you to go to, and you guys will be able to follow it. So in another browser on your window there, I'd love you to open up raisley.com/showcase2023. So that's raisley.com/showcase2023. And what you're going to be presented on that site there is a very, very quick look at what we've done in regards to what I want to take you through today. A few lessons that we have there, and also some showcase examples for you as well. So if you haven't gone there already yet, make sure you open up raisley.com/showcase2023. That would be brilliant. But Kendall, thank you, because I know that questions on our function is working. So if you do have any questions today, please reach out. Let me know what's on your mind. That would be great. So really the format I want to take us through today is to showcase you some of the campaigns that we've been developing, which I've just fallen in love with and have been really great experiences with the clients as well. And also take you through a few of the lessons that I have learned and our team has learned in regards to our future of fundraising and how you can be sort of better thinking through into 2024, what you can be doing next to take your fundraising campaigns further. So I'm going to sort of slice those up, but where I want to start is if you are on the page of raisley.com/showcase2023, make sure you have it opened up. What you can see there is a list of the organisations that we've had the privilege to work with in Built by Raisley this year. Now, we have worked with thousands more of organisations who have looked after themselves and have built their own campaigns, but the ones that reached out to Raisley for us to build their campaigns with them and utilising Built by Raisley, we've had over 40 amazing organisations join. And I firstly just want to say thank you. I thank you because it is a joy to be able to serve you and to see the impact that you're doing around our world. We've been able to work with some incredible organisations that really have united around their common cause and their common purpose and sought to build campaigns that really are genuinely an amazing donor experience and a fundraiser experience, and really just welcoming them into the impact they're having. Razy this year clocked over $500,000 worth of impact that has come through our platform. It is because of organizations like you guys. So thank you so much for the organizations who did reach out and wanted some help and maybe lacked the time or the resources or the team and said, hey, Razy, could you build this for us? It has been a joy to work with you. So thank you. And we look forward to so many more next year as well. So big shout out to those and the very, very fun teams I've been able to work alongside there too. Now, what I want to do is I want to take you to our first campaign, which is actually not live yet. It's in development, which has been super fun at the moment, but I recently got to do it and it's a bit of a passion of mine. I love campaigns like this. And I want to do a shout out for UNICEF New Zealand, who are running an incredible walk for Water campaign, which is going, is a repeated campaign that they've done a few times in partnership with Les Mills. The reason I love it, it's a real focused campaign on their partnership with Les Mills and what this campaign has introduced. And just so you're aware, on the website, razy.com/showcase2023, you can actually scroll and see what these websites look like, which is kind of why I shared the link with you. It's going to give you a better experience than me sort of screen sharing it. But what you can sort of look through is two sort of snapshots of what the campaign is looking like at the moment. It'll evolve a little bit more. But the thing I wanted to highlight was really around the need when you are looking at peer-to-peer campaigns, which primary focus is on the fundraiser. And that means that what you're trying to look at is what is the most engaging part to someone who wants to fundraise for you, and how to, at the core of it, their first action of signing up become the primary driver when they do land on your campaign. And this example was a really good one. Previously, the campaigns have looked a little bit more cause-driven. The campaign has looked a lot more around the story of UNICEF and what they're doing. And one of the things that we sort of leaned into a little bit was, how do we actually make this more look and feel more like the partnerships side rather than the causes side, in order that the most people who are going to be going to this have more probably interest initially in their gym and their fitness with Les Mills than they may do with the cause. And so on their first interaction, how do we really seamlessly bring them into going, hey, we understand what you're into, before we sort of talk to them about, hey, here's what we're into. And so this campaign's been a real joy to look at. We did a real dark theme, largely because Les Mills has a really sort of more dark, sort of black lycra sort of feel to it around that. It's got a real fitness drive for it as well, which has really been the prominent thing we've been pushing. But UNICEF have an incredible brand. Their blue color is just amazing and it really pops on black. So we've been able to use some design motifs to really just slice in their UNICEF's brand. And so hopefully that what people are feeling like is that it's a real coalition of these two campaigns working together. So really like this one. Where was the link to this campaign? I won't share the link to this actual campaign. These are just demonstrations at the moment. You'll be able to find the link to this particular campaign when it goes live later on in January. But do look out for them as this one evolves a little bit too. One of the things we loved about this campaign was really the team leading in and having that flexibility to sort of listen to some ideas that we've had around, built by raising some of the best practice around sort of mobile responsiveness as well. And as you can see on the supporter page, which is the fundraising profile, we've simplified it right back as well to sort of allow a slightly better mobile experience. So this was a really, really fun campaign I've loved working on. It's interesting that, ironically, my wife is actually a Les Mills instructor. So she, and is also a graphic designer. So she sort of came in and gave some sort of input from her perspective around what she would want to see if she was to go with it. And so things like lining the campaign experience up with the app that Les Mills uses was one of the interesting things that we've incorporated in there as well. So a very interesting partnership campaign where you're really looking at kind of the slow feed journey of getting a fundraiser to start looking into who you are. But the first thing they see is something that they're already into. as an opportunity to sort of work out. So anyway, love that campaign. Thought it was really, really cool. And UNICEF New Zealand, can't wait to finish this one with you when I'm back from holidays in January. Now, from that campaign, I want to take us to one of my first insights. And my first insight that after doing over 42 campaigns in this year and building those out for clients, which, as I said, is insane. When I used to work at an agency, you would not do 42 campaigns a year. You do a lot less than that. And I'm not sure whether many charity organizations have done 42 campaigns in a year. So just the amount of learnings that I've been able to have has just been an enormous privilege. And one of the main ones that I've come out after 12 months of building these campaigns has been looking at create an environment in Raisley for fundraising. And the bold word on there is an environment. In almost all cases, people have come to Built by Raisley because they have a campaign need that is in front of them. It's a particular campaign they wanted to build, whether that be an appeal or a peer-to-peer or a community hub, but it's very campaign orientated. And it's a bit of a single focus on that. And one of the fun things has been looking at that, do you know what we'll do initially is, we'll create your campaign that you're after. But the other thing we'll do in Raisley is that we will grab your brand and we'll skin out a couple of the other templates as well. Because the goal for that really was to create an environment in Raisley where you can do your fundraising. Now, the more we did this, the more we continue to see that even if you do build a campaign, a lot of the time you need a supplement campaign around that you can be utilizing for, say, regular givers, or a supplement campaign that you can be looking to create some more landing pages for future interest. Even when you create a community hub campaign, making sure that you have a really good peer-to-peer template that you can quickly create new peer-to-peers and have those linked out from your community hub was something that continued to show us that the goal in Raisley is not just building a single campaign. The goal in Raisley is actually to build an environment of campaigns that you can sort of adapt and have sort of a real agile method of being able to create new ones and spit new ones up simply. So let me give you a bit of a visual sort of thing around this. Say, for example, you're looking into your 2024 campaigns and you got just a big calendar where it went from January to December. And the first thing you did is you just marked out when are going to be your appeals. And you sort of may mark out maybe 3 or 4 times in the year that you're going to have an appeal campaign. Maybe the next thing you want to do is you go, great, well, that's our appeal campaigns and our sort of flash campaigns that pop up. But what about some of our evergreen campaigns that we want to run the whole year? So maybe you might have a community hub that you put there, and maybe you have a regular donor portal that you have there. And they're sort of ones that sort of overarch the whole year as well. And then you go, great, where would our peer-to-peer campaigns be? And typically peer-to-peer campaigns are really great campaigns sort of at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. And typically most peer-to-peer campaigns act as feeder campaigns into other things. If someone's had a great experience as a fundraiser, what does it look like to engage them as a regular donor? What does it look like to engage them as a appeal ambassador? So you might go, great, on this calendar, I'm going to put my peer-to-peer campaigns. You put one there and one there and one there. And then you go and you talk with your sort of growth team and your partnerships team, and you say, great, what events are you doing this year that you could really utilize? This is an easy ticketing platform to register people. And they come back to you and say, hey, we're doing 25, 30 events this year. And then suddenly your calendar is event. And then if you grabbed all of that and looked at your calendar for 2024, you are seeing that you are doing close to 30 to 40 different campaigns in a year. Some small and flash, others larger and more instrumental, some of them evergreen that run across the whole year. But it brings me back to the point that the goal in Raisley for your fundraising is create an environment in Raisley that can help you with all of that together. The reason why is that you can start introducing a real brand consistency in regards to each of those campaigns. If you only look at a campaign singly, you may not realize that your next campaign has a slightly different brand. But if you're thinking about the environment, it means that your brand is going to continue to be consistent across all of those campaigns that you're running, which is going to be great. It also means that your data is manageable, is that you can actually bounce from campaign to campaign to campaign because you understand how your data works. It's all in the one place in Razely. You've used different fields. One of my major encouragements is everyone, before you go back to work in 2024, go into Razely, look at your custom fields and remove any duplicates, right? So often there's like, you go into your custom fields and there's duplicates because people have been doing the single-minded campaign way rather than looking at it as an environment. And the other big recommendation is totally use the organization media library. Hardly anyone does it. I use it all the time in every project. Go to your account settings, go to organization library and add your brand assets in there. Don't add your brand assets into the individual campaign. Add them so that you can share them across all of it. So there's a bit of an insight, and I'd love you to maybe explore that more with me next year as we sort of dive in. But create an environment in Razely for fundraising, an environment of all sorts of campaigns, and we're seeing incredible success with organizations who are doing that, which has been really, really good, and a lot of brand consistency, which has been terrific. All right, I'm going to get to our next one. The next one I'd love to showcase would be the World Scout organization. These guys were incredible to work with, largely because this organization is enormous. And what this project was actually a coalition of two of the sort of major areas within Scouts to come together and go, hey, we want to run a fundraising platform where Scouts around the world could create their own projects, have them submitted, have them go live, and then reach their fundraising goals in that. And one of the things I loved about this project is because it was going global, the diversity in the projects that came about were incredible. But we need to make sure we created a system in Razely that made this easy for them. And so with the introduction of the 3-tier sign up, where you can now use organization profiles, team profiles, individual profiles, that made it easy. It gave them a lot more flexibility, which was really, really great. And we managed to create this a really clean sign-up process that when someone signs up, the actual fundraising page isn't activated yet. And it has to actually go through an approval phase. And that was really simple. It was just creating a custom field, which was a checkbox to make that campaign active. And then when it was active, then the actual page would change and allow someone to access and start fundraising. So some really simple solutions to make this really great. And if you go onto the site, you realize that they are running this evergreen campaign that I reckon is just going to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. And it's been a real massive success. From that, they also created an appeal campaign talking about the environment that they wanted as well. And they really, really adopted that. One of the things I love about working with this project is how much the team leaned into this. They really, really were a team that were not just about strategy, but really about getting their hands dirty on the tools in Razely, which was really exciting. So a big shout out to Scouts, a great project. There's a few little custom features in there, which was a really interesting one. And they're features that we're looking to implement in Razely moving forward, such as they have a profile grid filter, which was a really good one, or an ability to sort of look for profiles, not just based on name, but based on some other things as well. Really, really cool little feature. So really, really love that. And they were really open for design help as well. So World Scouts, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our Scouts badge that will hopefully arrive in the mail at some point this next year, which would be cool. So anyway, thank you, Scouts, for that. That was a great one. So I'd love you to sort of scroll through that and have a look at what they've done in regards to their campaign. If you do want to go to their campaign, you can go to donate.scout.org and you actually be able to find and see their projects as well. That's donate.scout.org available there. Now, let me give you insight number 2, but maybe before I do that, if you have any questions, I would love to see the Q&A sort of space in there. It can be anything related to some of the insights we've had or any questions that you may have over this time as well. If you have just joined us and you don't know that what I'm working from is a website that I'd love you to open, which is razely.com/showcase 2023. Make sure you open that link. You'll be able to see what I'm working on through as well. So I encourage you to go to there. But if you've got any questions, please drop them in the Q&A and I'd love to sort of answer some of those as well as we get into it. Now, what I look at insight number two. Insight number two is this: a personalized experience is cheap and effective, but custom features are not. This has been one of the big insights that have been so common with almost every project we've done with Built by Razorly. One of the things that often comes up is the team and myself sort of having this ability to consult with you and with the clients we've worked with around, do you actually need a custom component and a custom feature in there? And in pretty much 98% of the time, we've said you don't. Mainly because what we've been looking at is how to maximize the platform for what it is, and particularly investing more in personalized experiences around your campaigns. And so really sort of going, do you know what, the Razor can do more than you think. That custom idea that you had, where it might be a map that sort of like highlights the different donations and you can click there and things pop up and all of this, is when it comes to campaign success, not required. And the reason for that is that we've actually had, rather than just going, yeah, great custom feature, that would be good, let's bill you for that. That's not Razor's interest. Razor's interest is in you learning the platform, taking the platform for as far as you possibly can. And so having a personalized experience can be way more beneficial for that. So utilizing your data that's in Razorly and making sure that's captured to give people those personalized experiences is we're finding is going to be a far better investment, and actually a far more cost-effective investment than ever looking at custom features in that as well. So some of the examples that we've sort of looked into that is really around planning your sort of donor journeys and making them planned over 3 campaigns long. The reason that's important is that the first campaign, say a peer-to-peer campaign, is that you may get people in. But what does it mean then to engage with people after that? Now, if all your data, if you are thinking through your peer-to-peer campaign, how can I capture some interesting data points in this peer-to-peer campaign that's going to help me personalize your next experience with us? And that next experience might be a regular donation ask. And so some of the things we've recommended in peer-to-peer campaigns have been asking questions in the form such as, is this your first experience with our organization? Or how many times have you done this event? If someone has done the event 3 or 4 times, making sure you know that's a data piece you're collecting. Because once we've collected some of these data pieces in there, and we collect them through forms and through sign-up forms or donation forms or lead forms, once we've collected that data, we can then use that data to go, do you know what, I can personalize the email I send you. I can personalize the landing page you get. So say, for example, let me hash on the 2 examples. If this is someone's first experience with you in peer-to-peer, one of the nice parts, if you capture that data, then you can then say to them at the end of that campaign in regards to feedback, hey, thank you so much for having your first experience with us. We would love your feedback on how we can make that better. The other concept would be, you can ask them a question, would you recommend this to someone else? So it's straight away, you're focusing now on not just a general audience, but you know something about this audience that's their first time doing this. And so your whole feedback sort of strategy post-campaign is directed toward them. If you've got someone it's their 3rd or 4th experience, but then you can look and go, hey, they're not a regular donor yet. Well, maybe really the goal is to say, hey, you've been doing this campaign for a few times now. Have you considered being a regular donor for us? It seems like you love our organization, you want to partner with us, but that simple piece of just knowing, hey, you've done this a few times, is now going to help you with your next campaign or your next ask as well. And that's a real personalized experience from that. One of the ones I have loved, though, and if you want a real secret into peer-to-peer campaigns and how to make them successful, as well as community hubs as well, it's making sure that the person who starts as a fundraiser in your peer-to-peer, that they develop a bit of a network around them of supporters that they can give a referral to people in that network to join as well. So if you've got someone if you know that this is a campaign that they've done 5 times, there's a good chance they're not going to do it again the next year. They're going to be tired from that. So why don't you make it, because you have that data, they've done this 5 times, why don't you make their profile page, instead of just having the standard one that everyone looks like, maybe on their one, you change the profile page to make it look like they're an ambassador for you. That these are like, this person's done it 5 times. And what you're doing on their profile page is celebrating with them how much they've done this. And you can make all sorts of design edits to the profile page, literally based on that one piece of data that they've done this campaign 5 times. And the nice part is that you can then show this person off as someone who's experienced, someone who's an ambassador, someone who's upgraded to an advocate for you on their profile page. And that gives other people sort of a bit of a goal to work toward as well when they're doing it for the first time that year. But it also, you can have messages that are pushed into their profile or their dashboard that say, hey, we know you've done this 5 times and you may be wanting a new experience next year. Who is someone that you could recommend to come in and take your place and be the next ambassador? So you're building a referral strategy in there really around the profile section and the dashboard, which would be really, really cool. So a big one is invest in personalized experiences. Capture the data through your forms or through your donation forms or your sign-up forms, and use that data. It is so much more effective than custom features. Custom features cost you money. You'll need development. You'll need them updated every year. And in most cases, the statistics we've looked at from the campaigns we've built, they do not make much of a difference. They may make a quick little visual difference, but what's making a real difference is the email communication journeys that are personalized. It's the fundraising page that they created themselves that suddenly represents them, that they're an experienced fundraiser. They've been with you in a while. It's not generic, it's personalized for them. And we're not just talking about name, we're talking about all sorts of different things in there as well. And all this stuff is cheap. It doesn't cost, really doesn't cost you anything. All right. So you can do so much with this. And my encouragement is, the more I build campaigns, the more we lean into this as well. So hopefully that helps, that little insight too. Now, I don't see any more questions. Please ask questions. I love people when they ask some questions. So if you do have that opportunity, that would be great. If you have just joined us, please make sure you go to raisley.com/showcase 2023 so you can see what I'm working through as well. Now, the next one I want to showcase is Emergency Action Alliance. These are a really, really cool organization in which pop up appeal campaigns based on emergency relief needs. And they almost act as the first responder to when the other major organizations sort of come around and then have their foot on the ground, they then hand it over to these larger organizations. But as a first responder when crisis hits, the Emergency Action Alliance will spit up a donation campaign, some information around what the appeal is to help people just start donating, and those funds get distributed out generically for the partners who work with them around that. Really amazing organization. But what they needed was this. They built their campaign. They had an agency build it for them, but it wasn't very user-friendly. They basically they wanted flexibility on their pages so they could actually put the details in for each of these different appeals. But that was built into a profile page. And the problem with profile pages, even though they're amazing, is they're not flexible. They're very inflexible because a profile page is a page built that has the same structure and the same content for everyone. It's just that the data changes on that page based around what people have put in, whether that be like a fundraiser's profile page, that the name changes or the fundraising description changes or such and such. So they had built each of their appeals to be in the organization page, but it was just inflexible. It wasn't actually giving them the things that they needed to work with. And so what we did instead is we sort of they came to us and said, Raisey, help out, clean this up for us. And the first thing we did is just make the platform really intuitive and easy for them. And the way we did that was we did 2 things. For each appeal, we just created a landing page. That's a general page in Raisey. We created a template for that had everything they could possibly imagine in there. And within that page, because it was a page, it's flexible because they could edit to put whatever they wanted in there. They could delete the rows they didn't need. They could add the rows they did need. They could put the context, the copy, all the buttons, all the resources they wanted into that particular for that. Because it was a page, completely flexible because it wasn't a profile page. But then what we did is we made a really basic profile page, and that profile page was just for donations. So most of the main information really was kept on the landing page, but then that landing page, when it linked out, it linked to this individual profile page, which just had a the name, really short description, and a donation form. And what this meant is for them to be able to spit up a appeal like that was really simple. They could firstly just create a donation page by creating a new profile, and straight away they can have the name, a short description, and a donation form that's ready for them. But when they had more information, they could then build out their landing page, and it was a flexible page where they could add the things that they needed to do. And this solution just was a game changer for them. It made Razorly just a very easy platform to work on. It's one of the nice parts with Razorly. You can really do anything you want in there. And sometimes when you build things, you can build them in a way that's not very user-friendly as such. And one of the things we've loved about with Built by Razorly is really leaning in that a successful campaign is one in which is user-friendly, is that when you interact with it on the back end, it's intuitive, it's easy, it's flexible. You can understand it. One of the things on these campaigns is we reduced 3,000 lines of CSS code down to 280 because there was just stuff that you didn't really need in there. So really making sure that when we're building campaigns that we have the user who's going to be working on these campaigns front of mind before we design something that's going to may look great, but if it's inflexible and this is not usable, you're going to be frustrated so quickly. So really amazing campaign. Love working with Karen and the team there. So thanks, Emergency Action Alliance, and we love the work that you do. All right, I'm getting through this. It's 12 o'clock. I did say this was going to be half an hour. We'll go a bit over. Why not? It's Christmas. So insight number 3, think a lot about your sign-up experience in peer-to-peer and community hubs. One of the things that Razorly has been doing a lot of is community hubs. And community hubs are an amazing evergreen campaign that you can invest in. They reduce your administration, increase your fundraising opportunities, and increase your fundraising dollars coming in as well. But the most important thing about a peer-to-peer or a community hub is really thinking hard, how do we make the right sign-up experience for someone? And the reason this is important is that when you create, say, a sign-up form in a campaign, a lot of people don't realize that you can edit all the headings that are on each of the steps that you go through the form. And if you edit these, it makes such a difference for the user. Just calling things step 1, your details, step 2, your fundraising page details, rather than just leaving it as the default, but crafting it to exactly who you are speaking to is really an important step. And so one of the things I'm encouraging clients when we work with them is to be really thinking through what is your sign-up experience. Some of the things that have been really interesting, we've had a few projects where the sign-up experience is not simple, such as school campaigns. So how do you get, when you've pre-filled all your schools and then you need people to be able to sign up under their school, and then you want the organization owner to be able to create teams, there's a lot of complexity on a sign-up experience. And so my big encouragement is really lean in on that. Separate your time, put time aside to be thinking through what is your sign-up experience, and at the core of it, what do you want it to be? Some of our favorite clients are the ones who have come to us with just crazy ideas, because the nice part is you can do so much within Razorly. There's 1,000 ways to skin the cat, but if you've thought through it really well, typically find the right solutions can be quite simple. So my big encouragement is think a lot as you go into 2024 and you're running your peer-to-peer and your community hubs. Think through what is the ideal experience you want your donor to be having, and how do we actually craft that within your peer-to-peer and your community hubs. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more content in the next year on our YouTube channel. You may have noticed I've been a little bit absent on the YouTube channel for quite some time. Very busy building over 40 campaigns. But I'm so looking forward to bringing all these insights into some more content. And one of the content pieces I'm excited about is looking at sign-up experience and how you can really learn how to craft unique ones that are really reaching what you want to be doing. So think a lot about your sign-up experience. It does make a huge, huge difference. I'd encourage you to spend some time there as well. All right, next campaign I want to quickly showcase, if you haven't sort of seen it already, is Women and Children First. Now, this was their first appeal campaign that they've run. They came to Raisley as old friends of Raisley, and man, did we blow them out of the water with what we produced, which was really, really cool. What it was is they had an appeal campaign is very simple. It's just saying, here's what we'd love you to give to, and here's how to do it. And some of the things we got to utilize was the new donation form and also the new donation button that pops up on donation modal, which is really good and great for sort of mobile use. And there's some little cool little features that are in there as well. But the most important thing we did on this, and if you can't see it, go to raisley.com/showcase2023. It's in there. If you scroll down and actually look at what the donation form looks like, you will see that it's actually separated. And the reason for this and why I really enjoyed this project was they provide holistic care for women and children needing support from domestic violence. Amazing cause and incredible work that they do. And the holistic care really is an accommodation package. It's all sorts of things wrapped up into this holistic care. And the concept is, how on earth do we communicate holistic care to someone around that when a lot of people like giving to specific things and want to know that? And so the concept around it was simple. What we looked at was showing that holistic care is a separate amount. It's actually it's a larger amount. It's an amount of $204. And that's one thing. If you wanted to provide everything in there, it's $204. That's a separate thing. And then we made a really, really simple little edit to the donation form that gave us a new line that said, or donate to wraparound care items. And that gave the person, when they look at the donation form, an option. They can go, oh, do you know what? I can give to specific items in this donation form. I can give to specific items in holistic care. So that might be one item that contributes to the holistic care, such as the accommodation or the food or the phone cards they need. And so people have an option of donating to the smaller care items, but the primary option in front of them is, would you donate to the holistic care, which is all the items together in one bundle? And separating that visually helps the donor to go, do you know what? I'm looking at these items, but I reckon I'd like to actually provide all of it. And so I love this campaign. This was a really fun one to utilize because it was simple, straightforward. We utilized sort of Raisley's appeal template for that, which I'm still a huge, huge fan of. Skinned it out with their brand, which is good. Use the new donation form, but a simple change to thinking through, where does the donation go and how can we best break that up on the donation form so people understand what's actually going on, was just great to work with. So thank you for the team at Women and Children First. That was a really fun project to work on. Nice and simple, and often the simple ones are the most effective. So thank you for that. All right, any more questions? And there's no questions today, but do reach out. I do love it when there are questions. Do check out. But my fourth and final little insight is be a learner. The reason why this is cool is, from working with 42 different organizations, I have been utterly amazed, encouraged, inspired by the people who I've worked with who just want to get their hands dirty in Raisley. They want to learn it. They want to see the tools. They want to take control of theirs. They've come to us to build it, sure, but their interest is not for us to always build it. The interest for them is to learn how we've built it, and then from that, take it further within their team and get going into personalization, learning a little bit of CSS to sort of help with some different things, learning around some really good best practices around that, learning really simple things like how to build pages quickly by using the save as a row template or clone the different page from another campaign. All these things, some of the most inspiring clients I've got to work with is really the ones that just they wanted to adopt and learn. So thank you. It was so cool. And if I give any encouragements to the executive leaders at your charities and your leading, invest in your learners, invest in the people who want to get dirty, their hands dirty with the tools in Raiserly. If I can create 42 campaigns in a year, imagine what they can do for your charity as well. So totally. Thank you so much, Anne, for jumping in. Have a wonderful Christmas. I hope it's wonderful and a break. But invest in learners. Raiserly's platform is there to help you take control of your fundraising, to build the campaigns that you need in your campaign environment that are going to bring your campaign, your fundraising to life. Learning it is brilliant. And that's why one of the reasons why I lead our Built by Raiserly team and also lead our education is because all the things that we do within Built by Raiserly, we want to turn into learning insights for you so that you and your team can do it yourself. You're not reliant on Raiserly and me to build it for you, but you are learning these skills yourself to be agile fundraisers, have an environment that works for you, and you can build quickly. I'm super thankful that many of you have sort of come on board because you may be lacking the time or the resources at that point in time with your organization. We've had clients who've come to us and say, hey, we have no resources, no time, and we need this out in 3 days. And to be able to deliver that has been an incredible opportunity. So thank you for those. And so we love that Built by Raiserly really serves you if you need the resourcing and you don't maybe have the time. But our continual goal is to, as all is Raiserly, is to make a platform that is open and intuitive for you to use yourself. And to teach you the skills on how to do that. So insight number 4, be a learner. Learners are a lot of fun, and I thank you for all those who have really stepped into it. There's 3 more campaigns down the bottom, which just deserve some good mention. Heart Kids and Alana there. That was such a fun campaign to work on. Thank you so much for doing the plunge for Heart Kids New Zealand. Really, really cool campaign. You guys really leant in and have a really, really great initiative going on there. Compassionate Australia, really incredible to spend time with your team to build out an environment that's going to serve multiple departments in your organization, from the sales team to the marketing team and beyond. And so to work with you was just brilliant around that. And the Better Challenge, thank you so much for just building something and then going, it's not working, and then coming to us and saying, hey, could you help just make it work for us and to bring your design and things to make it look the way you wanted it to. I really enjoyed that project, and it was just really cool to see you try and get so far, but then for us just to come in and support you and just make it a bit cleaner and help with all those design things to make it simple. So thank you, the Better Challenge, for working on those. Thank you so much for everyone who has worked with BBR this year. Built by Raiserly has been an initiative we've been running over the past little bit over 12 months, but has really been advertised in the last sort of 3 or 4 months. So let me encourage you, if you are someone into the new year that you do need an extra help, you do need the education gap maybe shrunk down, or you are lacking the resources or time to develop the things you need to in Raiserly, reach out to the Built by Raiserly team. We'd love to hear what you are needing for next year. And we'd love to help. And even more so, we'd love to equip you to be a fundraiser in Raiserly and its platform as well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our support team. They are here to help you and serve you. We are open over Christmas. Yes, we are. So please, if you do have campaigns going up, do send us an email if you do have any needs coming up. We've got a bunch of incredible things happening next year. If you haven't tried out yet the new message builder in Raiserly, you've been under a rock, make sure you check that out. You can do really, really cool EDM building now in Raiserly, which is great, but so many incredible features coming next year as well. I'm going to be making a huge investment into our YouTube channel next year, which I'm so excited about, and largely just to equip you with the tools that you need to be able to make your campaigns incredible. And we're looking forward to building some amazing campaigns moving forward as well. I think that's about it from me. Thank you again for joining us in this webinar. We will upload it to our YouTube channel so you can check it out or share it with your team. But if I do not see you or connect with you until Christmas, you have a wonderful Christmas break. I hope it's a time of peace and a time of rest and a time of looking back over the amazing impact that you have had in our world. And Raise is really proud to partner with you with that. So thank you so much for being part of this today. And I will see you in the new year. Thanks, everyone. Bye.